Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Liners. Happy 2024. This is the first recording of the year. I am super excited to be back on. It was a good holiday season, and especially for my Baltimore Ravens. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes. But I really appreciate if you could like or subscribe my YouTube page and LinkedIn page. It really helps me continue to grow One Liners and Liner Connection. So really appreciate that. Today, I have a very special friend, an OG, an industry OG, Miami Dolphins fan number one, Sean Reed McGee. Look at that, Sean. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, sir? Love it.
Good to see you. I think we
What?
strategically placed this one, right after the new year. We knew our
Ooh.
we knew we had a battle
Ah,
a couple weeks ago or last week, but no, dude. Sean is one of the pioneers of lead generation. He's been in the space for a very long time. Started in EDU, and we'll talk about that for sure because he's definitely like I said, just helped evolve performance marketing to what it is today. He's definitely a market maker. But we got to talk about the Dolphins Ravens game first, dude. We got before we get into work, we got
ooh. First,
to.
okay, okay.
But listen, it's been a good season for the Dolphins. It's been a really good season for the Dolphins. I think we just got coming into Baltimore's tough, dude.
It's extremely tough. I mean, again, and I've been there. And again, as you know, again, I have season passes to go down to Miami.
Yeah,
But when they are close to where I live, which is about 45 minutes out of
yeah.
Baltimore, I am there. And again, your fans, all your friends just love me as I come Miami head to toe. I've got the sneakers to prove it, the socks on as well. I just go automatically, and my wife and daughter always yell like, "Dad, just one piece of his works." I'm like, "No, this is the day that you can just do it from head to toe and not feel like it's all bad." And again, the Ravens, you guys look great. Again, you guys, Lamar is pulling it all together. He's staying healthy, and this is the time. Again, I would not, outside of the fact of the loss that you guys are going to take on, again, that you'll take against us. I think that you guys can go a very long way. And this session right now was set up last year because you've been
Oh,
Joey, you've been
dude,
famous. You've been famous for years now. So there's no reason why we could not have had this last year when we had the best turnaround game,
it
scored
was,
28 points in the fourth quarter,
it
and I think
was.
I was probably blowing up your text messages.
You were, and we've had you. I mean, Brian Flores years ago stumped Lamar with the zero blitz. If you remember, you and I were texting then
Mhm.
too. Sean and I always text when there's a game on. He's diehard just like me, and he puts it all like when he's on trips. No matter where he is on the globe, he's going to find a place to watch. I've seen you in Alaska, all bundled
Yes.
up.
Germany.
Germany, you're
Oh,
going to find a way to watch, and that's awesome, dude.
yeah.
I've been watching Hard Knocks, and obviously diehard Ravens fan, but I've fallen in love with your coach, your system. The Tua is just so grounded. He's very educated, quite frankly, but he's just smart in the sense of how he goes about. He doesn't lose his cool. He's just very methodical, and he fits well with your coach, Mike McDonald. Like I think you guys are, outside of you having to play us maybe again, I think you guys could be a force to reckon with. I'm sad to hear about Bradley Chubb getting hurt. And at the end of the game there because he's a
Yeah.
warrior. But
Yeah.
y'all should have a great battle this weekend, and we're going to see each other. We just talked about it before we recorded.
Hmm.
You're going Sunday night. We're recording this, by the way, on Friday before Lead Generation World. Sean is going
Hmm.
to the game prime time Sunday night. This couldn't be better scripted. Sunday night for the AFC East Championship
Yeah.
on stake
I'm
number
I'm gonna
two
need
seed,
everybody's prayers though. I'm gonna need everybody's prayers
and we'll see you the
because
next day.
we're hurt. We're hurt. We're damaged. Yes. Can you be gentle when you
Yes,
see me?
dude, I may have to go to that game. I may have to go to that game.
Hey,
I I
hey.
I may
I,
have to
I,
do
I'll
that.
I'll text you my number, so you know
I'm
exactly
gonna
where I'm sitting.
consider it. Well,
Again,
dude,
and I'll tell you right now. I think based on our win. I think I might have to go all full out jacket the next day.
You should
We'll see.
roll
We'll
up,
see.
roll up, roll up, style it and profile like you always are. But
Hmm.
I think it's going to be so much fun to watch, man. And it's a we're going to have a great playoffs for sure. Um, but glad you came on. You took your medicine. You talked. It's a good battle. But we'll see each other again. And like I said, last year you
Hmm.
got us. You had the biggest comeback. So we'll have that banter all the time, man. I'm grateful for you and your friendship. And really, it's been a special year for you, man. You're like I said, you're OG. But let's back up a second. Tell me. You've been in space since 1995. Is that true? Is that like you? Was that what got you into
Yeah.
performance marketing?
You know what? Wow. First and foremost, I feel like you're throwing around dates as though I'm more than, remember, we tell everybody like I'm only like 30, like 31, 32. But no, I have been in this space for a very long time. I found my way into it. I think most people, I backed into it. It kind of
Right.
found me. At the
Right.
end of the day, right out of college, I found College Bound magazine with Luciano Ramoroni. And that changed in essence my life. From that point on, he hired me before I even graduated college.
Wow.
And we sat back and had a way to develop and just grew something out of nothing. I mean, he went from a black and white publication to two color, four color, regional to national to it just exploded. And when this internet thing came around,
Yeah.
he said, you know what, let's take a shot. I think that it's going to, in essence, replace print. And we were like, yeah, you know what? It is going to, I think the internet's here to stay. And
Yeah.
before you know it, it just backed right into it. And we were one of the first partners with some of the largest for profit schools out there, even some of the traditional schools out there, especially when it was the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
We were just having so much fun. Oh my gosh. I mean, but at first, of course, it seemed so foreign. When you
Yeah.
come from the traditional marketing space, you place an ad in a magazine. You
Right.
know what our distribution is. You know exactly how many eyeballs per se that we tell you we're going to reach. And you pray that the phone rings,
Yeah.
that people will sit back and respond to an ad that they said that they saw in a magazine. Well, of course, with the birth of the internet and performance marketing, now guess what? We actually truly had to perform
Right.
within that marketing to produce the phone ringing for you, to actually give you numbers and names and email addresses that you could interact with. So you spend X and you got Y. And everybody was happy go lucky. And now I've been doing
Yes.
that for about, oh my gosh, I guess 20 something years overall in the business, about 29 years.
You are
And
OG.
it's, yeah, ugh.
That's so cool, dude. I actually, shout out to like I said, Luciano. That's awesome that you started right out of college. And like I said, a lot of people back into the space, but the .com era took a print business and I didn't get into the business until what folks now call like the EDU boom, 2010, 11 era after the financial crisis. But man, you had a good run way before that. And you were one of the pioneers of building the EDU business for the for-profit space today, for sure, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. You know what's so funny is like now that you're saying that you came in 2010, I'd have to sit back and do some fact checking on that one because
No,
Lord knows,
EDU.
you know,
EDU. I got
oh,
in 2000. I was
oh,
mortgage guy, right? I was
oh, okay.
mortgage
I was like,
2000.
you've been around forever,
I've
and
been
I don't know whoever does not know you, I don't know why they perhaps even exist. Again, everybody knows Joey. I just doing conferences, I just kind of hold your hand or you put my hand on your
oh,
shoulder and walk around and I take all the remnants. Anybody who doesn't like Joey's
oh,
busy right now, but can you talk to me? So I understand that. I definitely understand
dude, you are super special, man. People, I feel the same way about you, man. I love being around you at the show because this is the energy, it's such a positive vibe, and people want to be around you too. And but I started mortgage with double positive. We were heavily concentrated in
Mm-hmm.
mortgage. We got kicked in the gut with the with the financial crisis, and then we spun into ADU. So I was learning at that point, insurance, education. You guys taught us a lot, and it's made a mark, obviously, in what continues to be one of the biggest verticals today. So what have you been doing the last 10 years or so, last decade or so in in performance marketing? Is it still heavily weighted EDU? What has been your main focus?
Yeah, again, great question. I think that for the last, 10 years, I
Yeah.
left college bound probably about 12, 13 years ago. We
Right.
sat back and we did a couple of different sales. So those all worked out well.
Yeah.
However, again, since then, it's almost kind of recreating myself still within EDU space.
Okay.
So I am about 85% EDU and 15% is a dabble between, again, mortgage, insurance, health, electric vehicle. So I
Mhm.
kind of spread it out a little bit more based on the industry markets that are performing as well as the ones that I believe are in the future. And
Nice.
when you are an entrepreneur by nature, you not only go with, in essence, some of the sure bets, of course, but also the things that you believe that are going to happen in the future. So some,
Yeah.
again, it's kind of
Of
going to
course.
where you believe the puck is going to be. So
Yes.
that's what I spend my time doing right now between Back to Learn, FocusQuest, and several other EDU aggregators. It works out well. So it keeps me and the team busy. And it keeps me, again, at all these different conferences across
Yes.
the board, trying to weigh them in and hopefully time them out so that I can also go to some sporting events. Kind of have my cake and eat it too.
Amen, dude. You got to work hard and play hard too, for sure. Enjoy life.
Perfect.
And um, you, especially the last couple years, you and Matt Tillman and a couple other key influencers have grown blacks in performance marketing to really be uh, at the front burner of just performance marketing and raising awareness of the black community and it's, really where we horrifically have gone from with a lack of growth within the black community within performance marketing today to recognizing uh, where we are now, where, like you said, where the puck needs to go. um, you know, Tell us if you can remind everybody, because unfortunately society has you know, it's hard for everybody to, have a remember, but because we all focus on right now, but like, how did black and performance marketing start?
August 4th, 2020 was the day that we decided to come together and say, you know what? Enough's enough. Let's sit back and let's highlight the fact that there's only a few individuals of color within the space. Why is it that
Yeah.
myself, Matt Tillman, needed to actually even be introduced by Sean Fallon? Love that guy. Absolutely
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
However, the fact is that after years of seeing each other in a conference where there'd be a room of 20 white men, 2,000 white men,
Yeah.
and be myself and maybe four or five others, and that was it. But yet the population that we serve, that we all serve, is at least 17 to 20%, again, African American. And if you do based off of all minorities across the board, we're all servicing maybe a 50% minority. But why is it that there's not, there's nobody in representation there, at the table making decisions, saying, oh, we're going to market to them this way. We're going to put this in ads. We're going to reach them this way. But we right now, you don't have any kind of recollection of what they might want to see. So
Right.
unless you have somebody who at least represents that ethnicity at the table at times. So right now, so it was about seven of us that came together and said, you know what, let's create it. We went through one or two name changes, but we kept it where it was bold. And we
Yeah.
kept the name, Blacks in Performance Marketing. Do note, right now we're about 360 members, which is incredible.
Wow.
That includes allies. So we went from seven to
Yes.
360. That number continues to grow each and every week, each and every conference. And what's key is that it's a safe place for everyone to chit chat and talk about whatever issues, especially within the industry and also things outside of the industry, things that are just mainstream. I have
Yes.
several individuals who, again, so that means everybody. That means, Joey, you are a member.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
other members who you do not have to be, black. You don't have to be African American to be a member. Again, to be an ally. If you believe that, again, that there should be some equality and that there should be a voice, so that again, then feel free to come join. We welcome, we want you there. We want you to
Yes.
sit back and be able to experience it because sometimes it's hard for any individual unless you walk there, live their life and walk down that path. How can you sit back and relate? So sometimes just being present to be able to listen to some of the stories and some of the things that they might be going through, or some of the successes, because there are a lot of successes within the space of individuals that we didn't even know about. I myself had a chance to sit back and meet people who are, again, who are sweet, C-suite within the space, who are African American. I didn't even know they were there. I had
Mm,
no idea, because they don't go to, let's say they don't go to the conferences or
right.
whatever it might be. But it was nice to know that you're not alone.
Yes.
Again, so I can take it back to sports. Again, as much as you are a diehard Ravens fan, to go in, imagine you going to a competitor's stadium and you were
Yeah.
the only Raven fan. Yes, you're going to be proud of who you are. However, you're going to be looking over your shoulder left and right, like, okay, because you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And guess what? So often, individuals of color, Black people within the performance marketing at the conferences felt exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Again, when you don't, but now when there's an acceptance there, also just the comfort level. So again,
Yeah.
Blacks in Performance Marketing is about building that overall community of equality, promoting, educating, and connecting individuals so they can amplify the voices that technically, guess what? Not only will it make it more of a safe place, but guess what? It's going to make everybody a lot more money. Again, I don't even have to necessarily have to go that way to kind of, tease you with it. But ultimately, if you're a better company filled with a lot more educated, like-minded, equality people, it actually works. It works across the board. So, please come. If you're not a member already,
Yeah.
come join us.
Yeah, dude. Well said. I mean, I don't think people realize like we're selling leads, calls. We look at zeros and ones, right? Profitability. We look at
Hmm.
margin. And you're right. Like the audience that a lot of times we're dealing with is, you have to pay attention to that and understand who you're marketing to, right? And so it's just a big, big part of the community between, blacks and minorities that, you obviously want to have um, you know, the understanding of their behavior and their activity shopping, right? And I think
And,
that's the business side of it.
hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but to your point, I remember one of you got, was it Matt or you said it in the beginning stages of Blacks in Performance Marketing when you guys like 10 whatever how long ago was you'd pass each other at trade shows you because you were so uncomfortable you couldn't even like you gave each other like nods but you never really like sat down and had a meaningful conversation. It's a shame. I'm so sad. I'm so happy where we are and we're improving better today, but I'm so sorry that you had to go through that and Matt had to go through that and other key friends and allies that it just it sucks, it sucks,
It
but
it
I think
does. And Joey, we've come a long way. And so I don't want anybody to think about the fact of, okay, fine, oh my God, again, guys, it's 2024. Things have definitely changed. But what's interesting that I've come to learn, I've been doing a lot of reading about it, is that our great country of America, there are things that are embedded within within its blueprint, within its blood, that actually led to things like that. That again, right now, once they're, when they were freedmen out there, guess what? It was actually in the federal government law. They called it the Black Code. That again, that no more than four African American men could actually connect and bond together. And if there was a white individual who came and joined them, they could actually not only pay a fine, but actually serve time in jail. So what
wow,
happens here is, and so even though I know that that was 90 years ago, guess what? Things get passed by generation.
history
And
repeats
sometimes what we
itself.
have to
Yeah.
do is we have to find ways to break all of those
Yeah.
chains. And so right now, while the chains are not physical, there are emotional, psychological things that we don't even know that we're dealing with. And that goes for all people
Yes.
across the board. So I think sometimes we have to take those larger measures and sit back and say, guess what? Again, so now I no longer just do the head nod. I sit back and I find individuals, no matter who you are, and sit back and say, you know what, let's connect. Because again, ultimately, I know that I'll be a better person. My goal here is, and I'm hoping that I'll make your life a little bit better as well. And maybe we'll have an opportunity to do business together as well. So again,
Amen.
I welcome everybody on the second Thursday of every month. We actually have a Blacks in Performance Marketing meeting. You can always feel free to join on. We do it
That's
via
great.
Zoom. And for next week, actually, right after Legion World, we're actually going to be We have a dynamic speaker. Her name is Tyler James, and she's actually going to be coming in and talking about how Black entrepreneurs can leverage digital ventures to generate wealth. And I
Oh,
heard her speak at a session at a much larger venue, and she has agreed to come join us. And so we not only have some dynamic speakers, everybody can win. So please come on out.
that's awesome. And I agree. As our good friend Matt Tillman says, we're going to continue the conversation, and
Yes.
that doesn't have to mean that you have to be alpha. You have to, you have to. You can listen. Like the biggest thing for
Mm-hmm.
me, as especially after George Floyd, and continuing to join some of the meetings, is for me is to just listen. And it's like bite my tongue and listen, because I actually want to understand more of what my friends are going through, and hear firsthand from them. Like I don't want to hear play the game of telephone. I want to hear directly their feelings, their
Mm-hmm.
emotions. I want to see it. I want to be there to assist them. I want to be an ally, and I want my white colleagues and peers and friends and to also consider to participate, and that could be listening. It just so you can educate yourself more on
Mm-hmm.
um, on all the points you just mentioned, like the session that you just talked about. I'd like to go because I want to learn more. But it's really it's a safe place, and um, it's okay to for all walks of life to come and to, because that's how we can all get better
Mm-hmm.
as a performance marketing group, but also as a society. And I'm so proud of you and Matt and team for going from 7 to 350, and we're gonna see this get to 1,000 plus, I'm sure.
No, again, I would love that. Again, the more voices, the more ears, the more that we can become better educated, the better society. Again, how great would it be to have it where we're all proud very much of this channel or this industry that we're in, to be
Yeah,
able to invite people to it to come forward. So right now, graduate from college and come directly into our industry
yeah,
and see exactly all the positives of it. And guess what? All smart, ambitious, again, driven individuals are welcome. We don't want any of the lazy ones. We don't
yeah.
want anybody who's doing all this stuff that's crazy. No, no, you stay, you go someplace else. But all the ones who sit back and want to make a difference and want to do well by
Yes.
their clients, and I want to sit back and follow the rules, guess what? Come have fun. Let's have a blast together. Again, would love that.
You bring up a great point. Like I've seen this with Link Unite too, and I've seen this with Blacks in Performance Marketing. Is look, we're this generation. We're getting a little old, but what's so fulfilling is to watch these mentorships. There is this new generation that's coming into performance marketing. It's so cool to see, and the ones that are willing to listen and learn, from. We don't know everything. We want to learn too. Like we're trying to learn more updated, communication channels, whether it's TikTok or Snap or whatever, right? Like
Mhm.
we're the Facebookers, right? Like so, we want to learn more from them just as much as we can, but to be able to help them understand the lay of the land in performance marketing, it's great to see like the mentorships that you guys build, Link Unite build. That's a really cool program, and I encourage people to continue to do that. I think it's
Oh,
so helpful.
in fact, we actually have several mentee that actually show up to quite a few of the meetings, and again sit back and they take names and numbers, again trying to connect. And what I found out is that the best mentees that I always tell them, again, make sure that you're feeding into your mentor.
Right.
Again, don't put all the pressure on them to sit back and, hey, okay, fine. Well, you need to call me. No, guess what? You want something from them. Give them something. You
Yes.
know what? Again, just points, comments, do some research. Again, make sure that you position yourself to be the best mentee, because now if you're able to tap into them correctly, you'll learn so many more of their tricks and their secrets, that you will
Yeah.
sit back and what took them maybe 10 years to do, you might be able to do it in half the time. Again, why not? And build even greater success. I think is as being a mentor right now, and I have several mentees, I love sitting back and seeing what they bring. And
Yes.
so I've come to understand that I have to always keep an open mind
Yeah.
because Lord knows
Good.
I'm like, sometimes they'll say something, I'm like, no, that's not possible. Or that's not going to happen again. But you know what? But overall, as you mentioned, Joe, you know what? We're all, getting a little bit older. I'm not sure if we can see this, but let's say, this is my phone.
Yep.
Again, do you realize that the iPhone is only like, again, it came out, I think in 2007. If you would have told me in 2006, Sean, you'll be answering your phone by doing a swipe, I'm like, whatever. So you have to be open-minded to anything
Yes.
and everything. It
Yes.
might, what seems impossible today might be the norm tomorrow.
Right.
So I
Well
keep a
said.
very open mindset to, let's see what happens. And so now you sit back, and so now I'll go here to start going into some of the colleges. Again, and what we do is we have a few people who are sponsoring us and some companies that
Yeah.
are sponsoring Blacks in Performance Marketing, which I love, and we welcome additional ones. But what that does is that gives us some additional funding to make sure that we have an active presence at a lot of the conferences, as well as we're going to go to the colleges to sit back and start saying, let me tell you a little bit about performance marketing. So now these individuals go out there, and guess what? They become not only people who are working in our industry, but they also become technically clients, and they know exactly what the younger generation is looking for. So why not? Again, it's a win-win situation, very honestly. So looking forward to more and more of that. Um,
I do. I
so
am too.
and I could
I
talk
am
for
too.
days about that one.
No, that's great. That's great. You have been traveling a ton, right? I see, it's fun to follow your journeys on LinkedIn and Insta. But you've been, like you said before we started getting on air, you've been doing so you really personal, you have a lot of personal, there's a lot that you gain from traveling with your wife and just being there for for fulfillment for that aspect, but also you've been traveling a ton for work.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I would say probably 70% of my travel is still work. Don't get me wrong. So the fact of learning the overall industry when it comes to the HBCUs, one of my
Yes.
my biggest company, or again, at least my passion, I'll call it the heart of my companies is called FocusQuest. And right
Focus
now, and
quest.
that deals with is being a student success partner for the HBCUs
Okay.
and the minority serving institutions. So right now, the majority of those institutions and college universities around the country is about 107 of them right now. That guess what? They have not been well financed over the course of since their creation. So again across the time. And right now, when it comes to online learning, they are they've got one program for every 30 programs that a predominantly white institution has. So the goal here
Wow.
is using our, again, our infrastructure to help them build and market and fulfill those particular courses at their universities, work, again, creating partnerships across the board that are extremely strategic, so that we can not only show them, what they should have per se, based off of, their each school has its own criteria, but then help them actually fulfill it. And then what we do is we do a share of revenue. So it costs them nothing. Right now,
Wow.
we sit back, we help them build the programs, we market the programs out there for them, we fill in the seats. And then when they get paid, we get paid simultaneously. So to me, it becomes a win-win. Right now, we're currently working with just two schools, and our goal here is to work with quite a few more. So again, but it's building. But that
Good.
right there becomes more of a legacy building piece because you sit back and yes, it's great. I think at the height, I was there. We were doing 400,000 leads a month in the for-profit, school area per
Right.
month. I would love to sit back and, and I'm sure, so we've been able to touch millions and millions of students again and put them in there. But how many of them were African American? How many of them would go to HBCUs? Again, probably maybe less than 1%. Now, having a company that focuses on that, and again, and being able to connect other businesses to that audience, absolutely in love with it. A passion. I'm looking forward to doing it for years and years to come.
Awesome. Awesome. You have a huge heart. I know this from being a friend for so long. This year, you
I
won the
knew he
Heart
was going.
Award. You won the Heart Award, and that was that category was there are some amazing humans in that were all nominated. I'm so proud of you for winning. Obviously, I wanted to win, but I'm so proud of you and Carrie for winning. Um, what does that mean to you, man, to be recognized by the AFI committee as far as just your giving back, your movement within the performance marketing space?
I am I'm choked up. First and foremost, to be nominated, I was extremely happy. That right there, I would have sat back and said, I would have taken that to, for every day. I was nominated. I was nominated.
Yeah.
And then to get the call that I won, what do you mean? And hold it, like, let me, you sit back, start tapping. I'm like, did I hear you correctly?
Your phone's breaking
And
up.
yeah, exactly. And again, especially when you're amongst such giants like yourself and Carrie and so many others, you're sitting back and saying, I know a couple of people, but I don't know as many people as they know. And again, you know what, the voting, you know what, I'm just happy to be in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be in the room. Thank you for inviting me to, have a seat at the table,
Yeah.
but then to win and then share that honor with Carrie. I think also it meant something to me to actually share that award with someone.
Yes.
That meant, there was enough room for multiple hearts. To some
That's
degree, you know what? I almost wish we all won again and all got
dude.
a trophy because you know what? The heart, I think if there's anything that this country, that our industry, that, again, at any given time, we will never sit back and say, wow, you know what? There was too much heart.
Yeah.
We will never say that. We'll never
Brother,
say it. So,
I couldn't agree with you more. I became friends with Tina Dixon and Carrie Hartman from that, you know, from that session, from that awards ceremony, and prior, because it raised awareness of what they were doing. Like Tina's been, running Queens of Digital Marketing, and Carrie's now the chair of their golf tournament, which is going on Sunday, before Lead Generation World. But if we all it was so cool and an honor to be nominated with you, because I've seen what you've built with Blacks in Performance Marketing, and like I said, you're one of the pioneers of the whole performance marketing space and helping us build out building out what you've done over your tenure. I think we all can get together and build a mega heart, something that, like, it's going to
mhm,
bring us together because um
mhm.
wow, man, how the love can bring power, for sure.
And Joey, what I love also about that particular nomination and even, I guess, even win was the fact is it's about celebrating someone else's work that did not directly benefit them, but benefited others.
Yeah.
So right now, everything that heart meant for everybody, it was about the fact of what can I do for other people?
Yeah.
Didn't have anything to do with me, didn't have it
No.
where, again, I could be an OG here forever, but that all benefited me. I was able to be the best of this that benefited me. But being a heart meant that, you know what, I decided that I was going to make a sacrifice, a conscious sacrifice to do something that benefited others. And I look forward to years and years and years of that. And again, and I will definitely be there next year because I wasn't able to receive. That's how long shot. That's how much of a long shot I
I
thought I
know,
was.
man.
I
I
was
know. I
like,
was
you know what? I'm
uh
just happy to be nominated because again, I'm all the way in the East Coast. But yes,
yeah.
when I had gotten on that plane, because and I think I had just arrived back from some other conference because
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that
Yeah.
I am at every conference, especially dealing with the HBCUs, as
Yeah.
possible. And I think I got off one plane. And they were like, "Well, Sean, if you jump on another one, you could be at the afterwards." I'm like, "I need to rest. I need to rest." And I said, "You know
Yes.
what? I'm not gonna win. I'm just happy to be nominated. Okay,
Oh,
fine. This is great. Can I zoom in? Can I maybe I'll get somebody to show it to me on FaceTime. And when I got the call, I'm like, no. So I'm
the
still in shock. And just
oh,
for the record, I think it took Matt because Matt went and accepted it for
he
me.
did. He
Matt
did. Yeah.
Tillman. It took it right now. There's pictures of him holding his because he also
Yeah,
won an
he
award.
won. He won
I
the
think for the
legend.
legends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's pictures of him holding both awards. Like, so he's double fisted,
Double
like,
fisted
yeah,
awards, man.
and posing. left and right.
We
And it took him like 2 weeks to mail me mine.
we had a good time. We all
I
dressed
love it.
up. We had our tuxes. Next year, I'd love for you to come. And it's Darren
Yes.
and Darren did such a great job with Mike and putting that on. And they had a
Great guy.
roaster, Jeff Ross, but he couldn't say anything mean to to Matt or because it's just such a it's all like I said, it's giving back award. What are you gonna do? You can't. But to have you there next year will be super special, man. As you can
Yeah.
crown the next Hart winner
I love
in
it.
person. So,
I love that.
and speaking of shows, we got you've been like you said, you travel a ton. I'll see you at Lead Generation World. Where will we can see and learn more about Blacks in Performance Marketing on? I encourage everybody to attend the virtual meetings. Is there some benefit of interacting with you and Matt and the team
Oh,
on site too?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Again, first and foremost, being able to see the energy firsthand, understanding exactly the collaboration that we can have as individuals, as well as companies. Again, what myself as well as 360 other members of the association. Again, we bring a wealth of information. We bring a wealth of knowledge, and again, honestly, can add to your top and your bottom line.
Yes.
So that means the world. Right now we'll have a booth. So again, Mike Faree, of course, again, the owner of Legion World has been able to set us up to have booth space. So very much just, and he is in essence our number one ally from the very beginning. In fact, it was
Yes,
a
he
phone
is.
call from Mike to sit back and said, Sean, did you ever consider? And I'm like, yeah. And you know what? And sometimes you just need that nudge. So when
Yeah.
it came to Blacks in Performance Marketing, it was Mike. When it came to that connection with Matt Tillman, it was Sean Fallon. There's always that. So to me, I admire those individuals who choose to be in their own way allies. It's not like
Yeah.
they sit back and say, today I'm going to be. You know what? They just sit back and just have a heart to say, you know what? Um, it'd be nice to connect this person, or it'd be nice to do this. Why not wake up, tomorrow and say, you know what? I think I want to be nice. I want to have even a bigger heart. And and it comes back to you win.
Yeah.
And I see some of those guys are probably some of the happiest guys across
Yeah.
the board. And I know what they've done and fed into our lives.
Yeah.
So of course we're in a better place, but they also too as well. So we'll be at the event. We'll have our booth set up. So I'll be there, I guess, setting it up on Sunday evening, ready to rock and roll for Monday
Yeah.
and Tuesday. Several meetings already set up. But then what we're doing is that we're looking to actually go to several other conferences. So right now, we've had a chance to go to some of the PACE conferences of the past, but
Yep.
I'm looking to have it where every member actually receives, discounts because you are a
Yes.
member of Blacks in Performance Marketing to go to other conferences. And right now, I believe it's on our website, but right now we have it where I want to say that we've all attended at least 40 some odd conferences
Nice.
already, and in each and every one of them. So you're talking about there was a money equity conference that you received 50% off because you were a member. There were so many conferences across the board
Yeah.
that they want to sit back and encourage individuals who are like-minded to come.
Good.
And so
Good.
that works out well. So our goal here is to continue to expand that. And for each one of those conferences, I'm looking to be there to pass out some cards, to
Yes.
connect. And then, of course, because I have my own businesses, I'm looking to grow my
Of
businesses as well.
course.
So
Of
again,
course.
it's a nice circle.
It is. It is. It's been a we've been such a good tight knit community, and as far as we all look after each other, I believe in the good that we look after
Mm-hmm.
each other. We're going through some regulatory stuff potentially with the FCC. I think we'll get stronger. We lived through the mobile provision of the TCPA in 2013. We lived through the do not call list back in the 2004 era. We always come together, but we also need to raise more awareness for like-minded, uh, well-being of health and mindfulness of everybody. And I think that we learn from each other, and I'm going to continue to learn. I encourage people to come up to you and Matt and any other key member or ally, whether it's at affiliate summit, leads con, some of the other shows that you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. Those are all pivotal shows in our space where everybody's under one roof and having a ton of different meetings. Take a minute to slow down for a second and
Mm-hmm.
uh and 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 educate yourself and participate and come to the meetings. I
Hmm.
think Blacks in Performance Marketing is going to continue to be a leader within our space, and we're all going to benefit from that.
And you know what, Joey? I just want to give you another shout out because I remember there was when it came to Ignite, and
Yeah,
I sat back and I was talking to I think it was probably Amanda, and
yeah.
she was sitting back and I was like, you know what? Do you accept men to be members of this women organization? She goes, well, sure. In essence, again, that would be kind of like an ally. I go, great. She goes, and I was like, would I be first? She goes, let me check. Let me check. And of course, I think after she checked, I think you had just beat me to it. And I was like, no, come
uh,
on.
Link
So
Unite, yes. I'm very fortunate. Myself, Matt, and Mike, we are on the advisory board there. So we're very fortunate to be part of that. And I love that you work with them and other
mhm.
groups within our
Oh
space to continue to support each other and raise awareness of for events, for key meetings, influencers, whatever it may be that we all can benefit from. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. I got to ask you
yeah.
before we cut off the
Uh-uh.
recording,
Hmm.
what's your prediction, dude? I mean, I hope you all win this weekend, but do you think you guys can go far in the playoffs?
You know what? I'm gonna sit back and I'm going to have my fingers crossed. The right now with Chubb hurt,
Yeah, I
with
know that
some
hurts.
Waddle, hopefully we'll be
Waddle's still
back.
banged up. Yeah.
It's just it's rough. I mean, right now I would say I would love for us to win the AFC East. That means winning on Sunday night.
Yep.
From that point on, that is my playoff. That is my Super Bowl.
Yes. Yeah.
We hit that, then guess what? I don't care. We might be, first round knockout. I don't know because anything can happen on any given day. But my prediction, I'm going to say, is that it's going to be a nail biter. Hopefully, we'll win by 2 points.
It's
It'll be 20. It'll be 28-30 will be the score,
okay.
and we will pull it out. At the very end, and it'll sit back and I will be running around with a big old smile all day Monday and Tuesday at Legion World. If not, feel free to somebody bring me a nice lemonade or whatever you want throughout the day and just say, Sean, I
Oh my
feel your
goodness.
pain and go from
Oh,
there.
dude, I agree with you. You got to take it as a week to week league, especially going this point, and you have to focus on what's in front of you. You got to go out and beat your rival this weekend and see where it takes you. You
And
know.
how about Lamar? Lamar's going to take the week off? Why did you take last week off?
He
Lamar's
do.
not even playing this coming Sunday. I'm
He's
like,
going to take off and still win the MVP, right? Like it's crazy.
exactly.
He's going to win the MVP and take off.
Yeah,
But obviously, I'm a little
hands down.
nervous for that rest period because I'm not worried that he's going to get stale. I'm just worried that he's not going to hit any contact over the next couple of weeks. But I'm hopeful that the Ravens will figure a way to get around that because it's really 3 weeks until he plays a meaningful game.
Gotcha.
So
Understood. But a little rest, I think, you know what? This is
yeah,
something different that he's never done before. So,
I know.
kudos. You guys look great. My prediction is most likely, if it can't be Miami, I'm thinking Ravens versus the 49ers
Rematch. Yeah,
again in the Super Bowl, and then we'll sit back and see what happens. But
that's it.
again, Joey, before I know we're going to cut this off, but I just want to
Yeah.
say thank you so much
Oh,
for the invitation. I thank you so much for the platform to again to showcase again some of the things that we're out here doing,
yeah.
that have that are a big cause. And even though things are not in the mainstream spotlight of the news,
Yes.
again, this is something that our great, great, great country still needs to understand. It's embedded within. And so we still need, so right now we had 400 years of suppression. There is, once we have 400 years of equality, then, then people talk to me about why is this needed? It's needed because guess what? We have a long history where there was a lot of injustice made, and it's embedded within within like our DNA.
Yeah.
How do we remove it? We have to slowly but surely remove it from every piece, from every cell, and we need to work together to be able to do so. And we can actually have some fun doing it if we sit back and we do it for the right reasons. So again, um,
Well said.
looking, thank you again, Joey. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you. Safe travels. Come, as you come over, and let's have some fun over at Legion World. Okay.
Yeah, well said, Sean. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your personal story, your journey, Black's Performance Marketing's journey and evolution. I'm so proud to have you as a friend, and
Likewise.
I've learned a lot from you, man. And I will continue to, because we love spending time together. We love that quality banter, and we love
No
we
doubt.
love we love but we listen to each other, and I think that's something that
Mhm.
will continue to like you said before, even we recorded, we love the feels, we love being on site. I would like to give you a huge hug. I I can't say thank you enough for what you've done for performance marketing, and our community, and keep continuing to shine, man. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, sir.
brother.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate